And I'm going to talk about my story as I mentioned before that today I'm going to continue to actually talk about the sacrifice, meeting Lucifer and meeting the actually person that actually sacrifices. They are not actually sacrificing celebrities. The person that sacrifice do that actually help celebrities with fame, wealth. They don't just help celebrities. There is lots of people, like normal people, that wants to reach. They help. People seem to think these people, this person, this thing is a spirit that does a sacrifice. It actually helps celebrities only, or the riches. Is not true. It's not true. So okay, I have to ring her back. It's not true. Even people that acquire wealth, they are now actually recruiting people. Like they are recruiting people and for wealth. But I'm not sure whether these people they actually get the wealth, like the people who are not celebrating. I'm not sure if they actually give them wealth. But I know that the riches, the wealth. I know that I did meet some people who actually have acquired wealth, because Lucifer is the father of lies. Satanism is actually is everything they do is not real. And whatever you do, even these celebrities, any contract they sign for Satan, through Satan, is not free. So that everybody knows. But what I need, the reason why I am making this video, for me personally, I've seen people struggling who are going through the problems that I've gone through, but I'm not able to tell them that actually. But some people, like in my family, I did tell my family members that, guys, this is what I'm doing. But because Lucifer was at work, he made sure that they get distracted. He made sure that they actually, he made sure that they don't listen, and also they move away from it. But that is okay. So yeah, so we talk about Lucifer. So what happens is how I met Lucifer. When you are down, when you have been assigned for a sacrifice. So what happens is they will call, what they do is they'll put you under condemnation. So condemnation is the sins, what you did wrong to God. So they'll do that, the sins of my parents. So what they did is they put my sins, the mistakes that I've made, the wrongs that I have made to God. So they put that in the black book. And then the other one is they look at the sins of my ancestors, what my ancestors did. They put that under condemnation for me to, and then after that, it's my sins, my ancestors, my parents. So it's like the whole of my bloodline. So what they do is they put you under condemnation. But actually, the idea is to use that so they can actually crucify you. They can have a reason to crucify you. So what happens is God showed up and stopped Lucifer to actually for me to be crucified. But then he keeps showing up anyway. So for those who are my family, they need to understand that they are not just fighting anybody. Lucifer keeps showing up. So if he keeps showing up to me, that means he's showing up to people around me, And then we got to this big problem. We got to the problem about the the spirit that recruits people for fame. So I am going to explain to you guys that when people say, when celebrities come forward and say they've joined a cult, the public thinks it's funny and they continue following them. They will continue going to watch them to their shows for music, whatever that is. They'll continue going to cheer them up. So when somebody says they have joined a cult, they've sold their soul and their music, it means they have sold everything. Now they have this God that they've answered to. You don't sell your soul to, I know people say they sell their souls to Illuminati. Illuminati, whether it's called Illuminati or I'm saying it right, I don't know, because I have no reason to basically to get to know it. There's laws, there's Mason, there's all this. So when people are saying they've sold their soul to all these names, but they have actually not sold their soul to all these names, these are just groups that have been created. They have sold their souls to other gods. And those gods, they answer to Lucifer. So when they answer to Lucifer, it means the celebrity has no longer have power, authority of anything, their music or anything. So it means they have sold their soul, and the people that their fans, those who chooses, like let's say, let me find somebody that I like Celine Dion. So I'm going to make an example with Celine Dion. I don't know if Celine Dion is into cult, but I've never seen her. I know she's not well at the moment, but I'm going to make an example about Celine Dion. So let's say if Celine Dion, she is sold her soul to the occult, whether it's Masons, whether it's Illuminati. They have not really sold, she's not really sold her soul to Illuminati. She has sold her soul to Lucifer. And then before Lucifer, Illuminati, there are other gods that are in it, which these are the gods, the tree. You see, there's a big tree. When you see the big tree, the tree they worship, these people, it's like it's a big tree. Like if you see like outside where you live, it's a big tree. That tree, if they want to meet their gods or they want to go to the coven of that, the covenant of Illuminati, so the tree will open and then they go in. The billionaires, the riches, that's why those are the things I'm explaining to the things that I've experienced, like the gods that I've experienced. And there's gods of iron. And the tree will open and then they go to their meetings. But when they go to their meetings, the coven, it means that there's a God that is involved in that coven before Lucifer. Like, you know, when we talk about Jesus, we talk about the God of Elijah. We talk about the God of Isaac. We talk about the God of Abraham. We talk about God resurrected Lazarus. So we talk about all these things. We talk about angels. We talk about there's angels in the third heaven with God. So all of those things, it gets complicated. So guys, all of those things that people get excited. What's this? I'm not going to mention people's names. I'm not sure if Kanye West is joining Illuminati or is joined whatever sold his soul. But he said on YouTube he's joined his soul. But when I actually watch Kanye West, for what I've been through myself, if I watch it very, very closely, his action is under human blood sacrifice. If I watch and be honest and watch with my experience, he is under human blood sacrifice like I was. Because when I see how they talk about the sectioning things and all these things, to me, I feel like it is under something that I was in. And that is not a joke. So for those who look at who are on social media, and if you don't have an idea of what is human blood sacrifice, is a human blood sacrifice is not a joke. And it could be a white man, it could be a white woman. They are all doing it. Black men, black women, white men, black women, they are all doing it. They all want to go to the top with Lucifer. Because when you become the queen in the kingdom of darkness, you become the king in the kingdom of darkness, you become a king. But to God is nothing. All these things to God is nothing. So that's why I'm explaining. I've decided to actually, because I have seen in the area where I live, and I've witnessed it myself. I witnessed what they do. They are basically sacrificing people. That's all I can say, that they are, in my own words, they are sacrificing people around the world. And these are the eyes that I was never open to it, because I never gone through. But when I went through, I started praying to God to actually show me the invisible, show me the unseen. So now I am saying that actually these leaders, they are actually killing people. These people, they are actually celebrities. They join. They're not really joining for them. They're not interested with the celebrities. Celebrities, okay, they reward them with fame. But the people that are interested is the followers. The celebrities, they are followers. And then in return, celebrities, they get to have fame. They get to have whatever they have, but they are actually interested to the people that are actually listening to the music. So the people that, whenever Lucifer wants blood, wants to walk into the red carpet, these celebrities, if it was, I'm just going to be honest and very, very clear, if it was them that get affected, they wouldn't have a family. When you sell your soul, every year you have to bring a sacrifice. You have to bring blood sacrifice. So that's why I'm saying these celebrities, some of them have been celebrities for 20 years, 30 years, 10 years. Who are they sacrificing? Nobody in their family. So it means it's the fans that are getting affected. So those who are saying, wow, sacrifice, if a celebrity joins the whatever Illuminati, whatever occult, you have to bring something. In the coven, you have to bring something. I've never joined them, but I had the pleasure to view, because this spirit that a celebrity joined, I wanted to kill it. I'm just going to be honest. I wanted to kill this spirit. But then the pastors told me, Nomsa, you cannot kill this spirit because it is carrying millions and millions of people. It means if Kanye West has 2 million followers, it means those followers are inside that thing that they said I cannot kill it. I wanted to kill it. I got so angry. I had to identify. I spent time researching what kind of a spirit it was. And when I did, the pastors that were helping me, praying with me, they told me I cannot kill it. Apparently, I can pray for it to go, but I cannot kill it. Because if I kill it, that means I kill millions and millions of people around the world. So that was the most thing that was annoying. So for those who says, oh, I don't need to worry about Illuminati. I don't need to worry about the occult. Or if somebody comes in and they say, a musician, they say they've joined occult, I can actually listen to their song. When you listen to their song, you're selling your soul. They take your soul. Is caged. Your soul get caged. When you die, you go to them. Or you go to heaven if God has mercy on you. Not everybody else, God comes. So I'm going to make it clear. Not everybody else. There's a guy on Facebook that I show is my friend. We were together. I was hugged, he was hugged. And he kept getting deep sickness. I kept telling him, he knew what he was facing anyway, because the pastors told him, this is what you're facing. So he kept not listening. It's hard when you go through challenges, when you face sacrifices, hard to actually go, because for me, it took 3 years. Why would somebody want to sacrifice me? It took me 3 years. From 2016, 17, 18, 19, 2020, I was coming to terms. Or 2020, I was still angry with the spirit wanting to kill it. And they kept telling me, you cannot kill it. I wanted to get hold of that spirit and I wanted to kill it. But this spirit knows it as well. It can no longer come near me because it knows that I kill it. It knows that I am crazy. When I'm talking about crazy, guys, when somebody really put you on a human blood sacrifice, when I'm saying it's not a joke, the only thing they attack is brain. It's like they every single day, whack, 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 by ancestors, whack, 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 whack. But for me, I was very, very lucky because I found people that are actually honest. I found pastors that are honest and pastors who actually had mercy. They dedicated their lives to actually save my life. But though some people, they can't. They have not had that opportunity to find out they are being sacrificed. So when I talk about Lucifer, Lucifer visits too many people. He's an angel. He's a liar. His job is to lie, to turn people against each other. And also the signs of like those who go to church. The signs of where you start going to church, you have everything. And then you start losing it all. Number one, you might be losing it all because you've gained it through the devil, or you might losing it all because the pastor is stealing your glory. It belongs to Lucifer, to the occult. Marriages, they take marriages. If Lucifer wants to attack United Kingdom, so I'm just going to try to make it very, very simple. If Lucifer wants to attack United Kingdom, like when I say I was facing a human blood sacrifice, that altar was in my area where I lived, which is United Kingdom, Oxfordshire. I live near Oxford. I'm not going to tell you guys where, so you don't start stalking me. I live in Oxford. Let's say I live in Oxford. If the altar of death of human blood sacrifice has been brought to me, it does not just affect me. For those who are best, who know me, who see me every day, who are watching this video, you need to look at your lifestyle and see whether they've tampered with your life. It's brain they attack. It's a heart attack. If you watch that video of Diddy that I've put there, they blaming him, how they are attacking people is exactly heart attack, madness, turning people into madness. Brain, anything to do with the brain. The brain is the symbol of your destiny. So for me, when I said I would talk about Lucifer, my journey meeting Lucifer, no one says no to Lucifer. When you say no to him, you have to pay the price. But I was willing to pay the price. And I also didn't know that nobody says no to him. And I didn't know that when I say no to the occult, I'm going to have to pay the price. But I did pay the price. When I'm saying I did pay the price, he actually, okay, the human blood sacrifice, how they do the human blood sacrifice, they put you under condemnation. And when you're being put under condemnation, so they'll put the black book on the table. So then they'll summon your spirit. If your spirit appears, there are two options. It's either you die or you live, or God shows up and stop them. If nobody shows up for you with no mercy, that means you die. They summoned me thousands and thousands of times. They kept summoning me. They kept summoning my spirit, and God kept showing up. Because why they kept summoning my spirit is because they wanted my spirit. My spirit can make a pastor a billionaire. It can make a pastor a millionaire. It can make a witch doctor a billionaire or a millionaire. Anybody's spirit. If they see, if you have, there are some people who are born with leadership skills. There are some people who are born with wealth, who come from wealthy families. When I'm talking about wealthy guys, just because wealth has not manifested in your bloodline, it does not mean that your bloodline are not wealth. So Satan knows all these things. They know all these things, that every bloodline has wealth. Every human being blood is worthless. To Gary is worthless, but to them it's worth millions, billions, trillions. So yeah, I'm here. If let's say I'm a musician, and let's say Celine Dion she's a musician, and she wants fame. She sells her soul. So what happens is, then the audience, they buy ticket, she gets sold out because that spirit is there helping her. Not everybody though, not everybody has to be like that. There are some musicians who actually, who are actually gifted. They sell their ticket based on their talent, not based on the occult. So that is the difference, so that you guys, you will know where we stand. But there are some musicians now where it gets tricky. If I sell my soul and I want to be great, I want to be greater, I want to be amazing. I sell my soul. The spirit knows, people buy ticket, the spirit knows what time I'm going to show up, what time I'm going on stage. The spirit will show up. And when I get on stage, I sing, I dance. That means that spirit is helping. Or simply the spirit will just go and sit like a king, like whatever a god, and just find his invisible chair, maybe sit next to the fans or suck the blood. The demons will be eating blood, the people's blood. You just sit there. Instead of the musician will be singing, the audience will be singing too. And the voices will be linked together. The voices of the audience and the voices of the musician will be singing together. That's why sometimes when people say, wow, the voice is so amazing, they do that sometimes. They occult, they do that. Some, they do that. But some simple, they sacrifice people to get more followers. But is it because they can't get followers without occult? They can. For me, I believe they can get followers without occult, but Lucifer tells them they can't. This is the option that they have. And then he would do that and then take their soul and sell their soul. That means everybody that listens to their music gets affected by that music. And then you need to go and get it delivered. That's why some people get all these different sickness and different things. But for me, it was simply they wanted to sacrifice me because somebody wanted fame. They wanted wealth. So what they do is, if that person is not related to me, they will go and recruit people in my bloodline, because they cannot have authority in spirit. They don't have authority to actually enter my bloodline and sacrifice this. Either I join them. If I join them, that means they have authority. I have given them to do whatever they want with my body, my spirit, everything, my soul. But if I have not joined them, let's say if they find your pictures on social media and they look at your future, what does your future have? And if they see that the sacrifice, you are a good fit for sacrifice, they now go to your bloodline on your mother's side first. They will recruit people. Lucifer does not lie. So for those who like the bloodline, Lucifer does not lie. When he enters the bloodline, he's a liar. We call him a liar. But when he recruits people in the bloodline, he doesn't lie. He tells them why he's recruiting them, that I want to kill this person for fame, for wealth, for my people, but you get to get fame as well. But people, because they hear they're going to get rich, they're going to get fame, they agree. And then they put a blood signature. Once somebody put a signature, blood signature in spirit, that means it is agreed. That means they can kill me. And then he has to go to my bloodline on my father's side. He has to recruit, do the same, and recruit people. And then they will sign the signature in the blood, in the spirit, and then they agree. But he does not recruit my parents. That's where it gets tricky, the way he tricks people. He will recruit somebody that is related to my mom. Some people, he recruits parents, and parents agrees to get wealth through their own children. They do that. So that is the story. That is my story. But every person in sacrifice is different. For me, Lucifer had already knew. He had been following since I was born. He knew my bloodline. He knew what I was, when I was born, he knew what he wanted. So then he went and robbed some people in my bloodline, and they said yes. But now when he comes, now he has a legal right in my bloodline. He has on my mother's side and my father's side. So now he's putting me under condemnation to say I have to be killed. But God showed up and said, no, she cannot be killed. So when God showed up, now my death was refused. The person that agreed, they die straight away. They cannot survive. Because Lucifer is the father of lies. So that's how I survived. That moment, that's another part of my survival. So then he came back now with the spirit that recruits celebrities, wanted to recruit me now. But when he came, God was already there. The angel of God was already there. So his plan was for me to say yes to this spirit that recruits celebrities. I said no because the angel of God was already there to help me to say no. I cannot over. That's when I realized, because even God showed me that the people that are judging, people that are joining occult, there is no way that you can overcome Lucifer on your own. There's no way. He's a God. There's no way. He showed me that there is no yes, there is no no. He actually takes people against their will to say yes. All these celebrities, they don't say yes to him. There is no way that is a God can enter my house and I can overcome them on my own. There is no way. I did not overcome Lucifer on my own. The angel of God was already there. And God said he's a liar. When he kept saying, I give you fame, I'll give you loads of followers, I'll promote your music. And the angel of God kept showing me that he is a liar. So I told him that I cannot join you. That's a lie. I prefer to follow God. And that was the journey where my torture began. 2016. On my 40th, my life began it was turned upside down. 2017, 18, 19. The last time he showed up before Christmas. So no one says yes to Lucifer. So for those who are judging celebrities to say this one has joined, for me, it was the angel of God showed me that no one says yes to him. No one says yes to him because he is powerful. So when he is powerful, it means he's asking you a question and giving you the answer at the same time. That I want you to join me, and my answer is already yes. For me, it was no, because the angel of God was already there and God already knew that they wanted me anyway. So it was no. So it was a no. I cannot stand here and lie to people and say, you know what? I overcome him on my own. I didn't. He came back and told me that I did not succeed with you because I knew I couldn't. It couldn't because for me, from a very young age, I've always prayed to God. I'll always go on my own and I'll just pray, and then Lucifer will show up. But at the time, I didn't know why it was him showing up, telling me that he was watching me. I didn't know. So that journey began the battle. But there was sickness that he was putting, the sickness that he was meant to put in me, that the pastors removed. And then now, in that altar, the area where I live, not just the area, those who are on social media as well. So they had to have the pleasure to take it. They had to have pleasure. But in the area where I live, there's a pastor, I think he's Italian, he's on YouTube. He used to be one of Lucifer's followers. He says if they want to attack United Kingdom, and which is what they did at the time, they will project whatever they project. It's either they want to attack marriages, they will project, or witch doctors or sorcerers, whatever they are. It's not just the pastors. They are like millions and millions of them. They are like witch doctors, pastors, and those like medium. And when you hear somebody says, I'm a medium, can I read your hand? Run. Do not stop. Run away from them. Honestly, run, because they are under Lucifer. And before, I didn't know that. And there are some people like that I'm following that before they were not like medium. Now they are, because he makes them, he plants that. He wants to move them away from their Christianity. And then you speak to somebody and they'll be thinking, oh, I can tell you your future. Nobody can tell you your future rather than God. in my church is forbidden. You can't tell somebody, you can tell them their future. You are not a God. But there are some people that say, I can tell you your future. I see this, I see this. That's Lucifer. So that part, there were sicknesses that I was meant to have. I got to the doctors, I got to Henley doctors, and the doctors would be like, signs of cancer. I'll be like, okay, doctor, I'll come back to you. And then I'll make a phone call to my pastor, to pastors, and they'll give me the prayers and I'll pray about it. And then I'll go back and they'll say everything is okay. That was my story. I'll take my children like a high temperature. I take them to the doctors. When we get to the doctors, the doctor will be this, and then we go home. Or sometimes, like yesterday, I shared a story about Lucifer using social services. Every person that has called social services on my behalf, their lives has not remained the same. It remained the same for a year. After that, things changes. He uses social services to actually, because social services have two options. They can either take my children away from me, which is something that I love. So if he controls somebody to do that, when he comes back, he also pull away. When the social services come to my house, he pulls away to make sure that the social services gets humiliated by me. Before I didn't realize, I realized it later with my pastors. And I said to them, why does these people, when they come, I chase them away, they go. It was like he wants to know how they work. So they come to me not because they're coming to me for what I've done wrong. No, they come to me because he has an assignment for them. So that's what he's been doing. My friend, the first person that called the social services, my oldest daughter was 8 years old, and she lost her son through knives. She called, we were actually sitting together, we are having a conversation. Something took over her. I said something takes over her. She called to social services and the police. The next thing I look around, I'm surrounded by the police. I'm surrounded by the social services. And at the time, I didn't have the idea. But then the police, all these things, people end up being on my side. And then it went on and on and on. But when I moved to the city, and I was like to the pastors, why is he calling social? Why is the social services? What's the deal with it? But then I realized that is actually, you take something from somebody that they love the most, I come back. A year later, I'll take something that you love the most. That's when he came back, my friend, and her son was sleeping in the house. People knocked, they broke in and killed him. He wants blood. That means if I want blood, I can go, I'll come to you. You had to know, sir, and she'll pray. And if I want something, I'll come back. If I want blood, I'll come back to you next year because you've had somebody. So that's the part that is using. And then he's using, who else is using? He's using people like the police. He used the police like he'll create a scene. And the police, he wants to know how the police handle the situation. He will create different scenes in different cities to see how the government works. But he's already in the government anyway, because most of the government, they joined a cult anyway to win the elections. Some of them, they're into a cult. Or some of them, they just love being a cult. It's everywhere, Africa, Europe, everywhere, you name it. So that's how it works. So he wants to be, if he wants to see how the government works, he will create a scene. Or sometimes if he wants to like to see his work, if I was to join his people, If I needed 1 million, I'll go to the bank and say to the woman, give me 1 million. She'll sign the check and give it to me. That's how it works. It controls, mind control. But because people don't know what he does, for me, he made my life a living hell. I don't want to stand here and say to people, oh no, I did fight him. I did. I will not be here today. If it wasn't people, even my pastor, I went to church every day. Sunday is English, Henley on Thames, D2. Everybody knows D2. I went to church every single day. When I was facing him, I was like, you never teach me about Lucifer. You teach me the Bible, but you never teach me about Lucifer. Then he had to get somebody, especially to actually one of the leaders every Tuesday. Yeah, we did it every Tuesday to teach me. And that's when my battle began. So I had to learn how he works so I can communicate to fight him. The battle continued for years and years. Rejection. Sometimes my family members, the only person that my relationship did not change, it was my mom. My mom, she's a pastor. She knew what I was going through. But she just prayed and hoped that I survived. But I knew I would survive anyway because of the people that dedicated their lives to actually teach me how it works, how to get out of human blood sacrifice, what it means when somebody chooses you to sacrifice your life for fame, if they want to be famous, they want to be rich. When they want to be rich, it means they want to kill you to ride private jets. So it could be anyone. It could be anybody, or it could be anybody watching. I've watched people going through what I went through, but it was different. What he did was in the area where I was, because the disease that he was putting, they prayed and then God took it away. But he started doing it to other people. Where there is an altar of death, it will affect others. It didn't just affect me. There were so many people that were affected. Some I told them they ignored me. Some I couldn't tell them. But if you watch my video, just look at your life from 2016 to today, how your life has changed. He made so many people miserable. He changed people's identity, people's lives for sickness, everything. So you can look at your life and just evaluate, and mostly the brain. I survived. I did mention that in my video yesterday, that the reason why I survived, I bathed with chili for a year. Maybe it was less than that. And then when it became stronger and stronger and stronger, I had no choice. Now I was getting angry because they were showing me that he just wanted to take my brain out. Like he wanted me to go into insanity. And then I use fire. And when I use fire, they never come back to me. But he shows up. He shows up. I can feel him when he's showing up, because there are some people that are inside. When I said this, when I mentioned the spirit that recruits celebrities, this spirit is carrying millions and millions of people. Because I said to my brother, the one that he helped me out, and the other pastors, why is he not going? He was like, Nomsa, is because the people that you're closest to, they are inside. Their minds are inside. So when he tortures them, you're feeling it. So that's why, because I wanted to kill it. And they were like, you can't. Because if you kill it, you kill people, millions and millions of people. So I gave up fire. Because now that he can see that I was using fire, And he was now pulling other spirits that were carrying other people. He wanted me to wipe out people. So I stopped. God said, no, I stopped. And I could feel it that now it was no longer about me. He just wanted me to take people out. So I stopped using fire, but it helped me. The anger, because I was like getting angry. He was projecting every guard, like he will come into the room, he will project everything. And meaning that my sacrifice, it wasn't just a sacrifice for fame. It was to wipe out wealth in United Kingdom. So if I had died, United Kingdom would have completely gone bankruptcy. Because the revenge, I don't know what the Queen did, but it was never my fault. But they wanted revenge. Some of you saw that video that BBC released. It's not a joke, it's real. That video that the BBC released, that pastor tortured me as well. It's not a joke. So that is the journey that I've gone through. It was painful. Some days were dark. But God will be like, I've got you. People will judge me. Sometimes there's so many people that my brother helped without them knowing, and some of them, they'll judge me. He'll make sure that they say hateful things because he was bringing people out that were close to me. He will remove them without them knowing, so they leave. So in return, Lucifer will come and make me pay, but it didn't matter. For me, what matters is if I look at my family and say you are alive, or look at my friends and say you are alive, that's all mattered. But he's still battling people's lives anyway. So I'm just sharing my story because I've seen people sharing their story on YouTube. So it's like, I'm not on my own. He exists, and this spirit that recruits celebrities now is recruiting everybody. In Henley 2016, he recruited people. He recruited me, but it does not just mean he was recruiting me. That means he recruited other people, and the people were saying yes. And people don't say no to wealth. They were saying yes. I can go to areas where people are connected to it. I can feel it. So that means those who are innocent, that means they have a battle. Who don't know anything, that means they have a battle that they are fighting. But I survived them. I can stand here and say I survived them. The Hollywood spirit that recruits people is carrying so many. It's mostly, they call it a festival spirit. When you go to the festival, or these artists, when they have their own music, that's how they hacked them, because they've sold their soul. It gets too complicated. But if anyone wants to know how they work, you can follow Dr. Olukoya. He explains it better than I. Me, I'm explaining the pain that I've gone through, but they helped me. He explained. For him, he explains why they do it and how they do it and how you can get out of it. For me, it was deliverance. I had to go prayer after prayer. Some days they'll call me like 2 a.m., wake me up, go and pray. Or some days people will be having their like get together, or my friends. I've lost so many people because I couldn't explain. If I was to come to you and explain and say I'm fighting Lucifer, you would look at me and say, Nomsa, you've gone bonkers. If I was to come and say, or if I say I'm under human blood sacrifice, or you invite me and I say I cannot show up because I've been told by pastors to stay at home and pray, I've been given a prayer to pray, you look at me and say, Nomsa, you are bonkers. So that's why I decided not to tell people, because the pastor said, Nomsa, people don't know about human blood sacrifice. Even me, I didn't know human blood sacrifice existed. until I was facing it myself. The first person that I told, I thought they will have mercy and tell me, Nomsa, everything is going to be okay. They called social services for me and said she thinks she's under human blood sacrifice. And before you know it, the social services were around me, the crisis team were around me, the police were around me, the psychiatric doctors were around me. And luckily, the psychiatric doctor, when he came, he asked me questions. And I told him what was going on. He said to them, she's telling the truth. And they said, why? He said, I have traveled around the world. I have worked with patients who cannot cope, who are facing human blood sacrifice. It exists. He was born in the UK. He grew up in the UK, he's white. He confirmed it and said it exists. But at this moment, I am not going to put it, because the social services, the police put their hands up and said, we see Nomsa every day. She lives here in Henley. We see her every day with her children. We're not putting in it. We're not getting involved. We see her. She's fine. We've come to see her. We ask questions. We are happy she's okay. So the police walked out. And then social services, they are the ones who really Lucifer wanted them to actually, and the crisis team. And their hands depended on the psychiatric doctor. And the psychiatric doctor said, no, I am not going to put my signature thinking that Nomsa need to be sections. She doesn't. She's telling the truth. And he said, what I'm going to do is, Nomsa, what do you want to do? Now you know this is what you are facing. What do you want to do? And I said to him, I want to go home to my mom. And he let me go home. He said, what I will do is, I'm going to need the pastors that are going to help you, because you need somebody, you need pastors to guide you through this. So I'm going to need them to take responsibility, to agree that we are going to take responsibilities to guide you through whatever has happened. If we can't, we take responsibilities to call you back and say we cannot help her. And the pastors agreed. They said, yes, we're going to do that. And in South Africa, I had to ring my brother. He is a pastor. He agreed that he will look after me while I'm there. So I went for 2 weeks. Did I go for 2 weeks or 1 week? I can't remember. So that was my journey. So when he let me go, before he let me go, the social services showed me that they were not going to back down. They tried so many things. And one of the girls, she called me on the side and said, Nomsa, you know what you're facing. These people could actually, they take children from parents who are innocent, children who have no problem with their parents. I'm telling you, because I'm one of the, so God was turning against them. So she was like, I'm telling you because I'm a social worker. So you're going to have to kick us out. So I was like, what do you mean I'm going to have to kick you all out? But you work with them. She was like, yes, I do work with them. But I've seen, for me, I have evaluated things. I feel we shouldn't be here. But now it's in your hands to kick us out, because the psychiatric doctor is on your side. So it's up to you now. What do you do from here? So I said, okay. But then after she said that, I decided to play games with social services. I was like, okay, let me let them. I'm going to waste their time now. They've wasted my time. I'm going to waste my time. If they come, I'm just going to keep asking questions, whatever they want to know. So I went home and they came back. They came back at the third time with the crisis team. They kept telling me they're doing their paperwork. So I rang the lawyer. I said to the lawyer, this is what has happened. What kind of a law are they breaking? So the lawyer told me the law they are breaking. It was a free service, and I kicked them out. I went into this in the house. And I read section after section, and I let them know that they are actually invading my privacy. They should not be doing this. And I kicked them out. I opened the door and I said, "Would you like to go, please?" I explained to them that, okay, I do understand that they care for my children, they care for me, but now it's them that wants to drive me insane. I'm not insane, but they are actually trying to drive me to go to insane. So I was like, can you guys go now? And they went, and they never came back. So now I go to my daughter. Was like Lucifer. It was like torturing. He was torturing people closest to me. My daughter was being bullied by people. Her confidence got destroyed. And this teacher, I went to her class and I explained, a new teacher, I explained to her what my daughter has gone through. And she agreed actually to take my daughter in. She was like, "Nomsa, I hear you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to help your daughter." And she helped my daughter. My daughter gained her confidence. She helped her. I was so happy. And now Lucifer tries to do something. And then I say something. And then the head teacher goes behind my back and then he calls the social services. But then the social services, they call me, but they knew. They were like, "Nomsa, my manager said we don't need to come to you." And I was like, "Yeah, you don't need to come to me." But he wanted to gain a legal right with the school. Meaning that after the head teacher is called the social services, he would then have a legal right. "You've tortured Nomsa," which is Witness's daughter, and Clara's daughter. So I am going to come into the school and I'm going to do what I want. Meaning he could actually control the parents to remove their children at school. That head teacher is a brilliant head teacher, so that he becomes a bad person. Everyone will be thinking they're bad, but he's good. He's a good head teacher. So that's why he wanted, and it is happening. People are moving their children and they are blaming the head teacher, but actually it's got nothing to do with the head teacher. The head teacher is awesome. He just wants to have fun with people. But because people don't know what is going on, they will just say this. But for me, I had to testify. I had to say it after he rang the head teacher, and then now they involve my pastor. He wanted the legal right in church with people. So when he did that, he called my pastor. That's when I'm talking about the angel of God and the church where they have helped me to actually get out from Lucifer and not him attacking my brain. Now God was getting angry. He was like, "It's time, Nomsa, you need to go home." I was like, "Which home?" "The home is the church where they have helped me." So I had to move the church. I had to go home to where God wants me to be. So now I don't worship in my area. I worship in Reading. That's why I ended up in Reading. But I'm glad that they did that, because I didn't know that there was a branch. I was worshiping online. And everything they were coaching me, it was online. So I didn't know. I didn't ask. But in the end, I got to know that there's a church in there, but they know everything, how Lucifer works. So now he cannot do anything. But all I do is I refuse. People fight me, I refuse, because I know that if I go along with that fight, he wants the piece of me. So I refuse to give him my piece of me, which is I don't want no disease from him. I do not want to know anything. I don't want nothing to do with him. So if last year, fast forward, last year I went to August, my friend got married. The friend that I've known for 10 years got to the wedding, Everything is fine. The following day, I go to a house and I ask if I can go upstairs. And went upstairs, and then I was like, I need to pray. Went to a room with her son who was sitting there. Her son is 12 or 13 or 14, I can't remember. She had friends over. I think she had about 20 or 30 people because their wedding was before that and then after. And her friend tried to kill me. Something took over her. I'm standing, she lives in a 3-storage house. I'm sitting, listening to YouTube. Dr. Olukoya is preaching. She comes in, something took over her. She comes in and she grabs me. She goes, go downstairs. I'm like, okay, let me go then. No, she wouldn't let me go. So here's me looking downstairs. I'm like, if I don't do something, and the Holy Spirit comes in and says, Nomsa, if you don't do something, she'll kill you. Do something fast. She's like, I'm like, let me go. So I realize that I'm wearing a jacket. I take off my jacket because she's like she's like pushing me. I'm like, let me go. I am crying. Here's me, I'm screaming, and my youngest daughter is watching me. She's like, let my mom go. She's crying, and I am crying too. And Lucifer is at work. And here's me like, think I need to think fast. I can't push her. Because if I push her, she goes down, she dies. Or if I try to move, we both gonna die. What I did, I realized that she was holding my jacket, so I kept her busy. I cried loud, kept her busy. In the process, I took my jacket. Now she's holding my jacket. I try slowly, wanting to remove my jacket. She was left holding my jacket. I ran, came out of the house with a shock. Now I'm sitting there for 1 hour, for half an hour outside. I'm so shocked. And everybody else that was in that place with me, I think there was 3 people, they are all shocked. Then I come back. Everybody that was in that party, they turned against me. And I said to God, I'm going to go home now. I'm going to go home with my daughter. And we came home. I told my family what has happened. And I was so shocked that the people will go to that length, because what happens is if I had died straight away, human blood sacrifice, it does not mean that you die with sickness. It means you could be killed by a gun. It could be a knife. It could be anything. All they want is blood. They don't care how you get killed. So I come home. I'm so confused that this is the girl that my friend that I have known for years. Why would she turn against me? But then I knew, when you know something. But then the following day, because my friend knew, I actually told them that you guys just put a curse in your own families because of this. I am under human blood sacrifice. And she just looked at me, and everyone, they're like, Nomsa, you are just going mad. You are just going crazy. I was like, you guys have no idea what this girl has just done. And what Lucifer did, any bloodline, any person that he wanted, he made sure that they all get involved and be in it and agree to my death and agree that this girl, she was right. Because for them, they were like, why were you sitting upstairs? I was there all day. I was just sitting upstairs just for some peace and quiet, because every room, it was full. The living room was full. So sometimes I just needed some peace and quiet. I also needed to listen to my pastor, and when he comes on live sometimes at night. So I was just sitting there. But one of her friends, she looked at me and said, Nomsa, not everyone that says they're a friend their friend, but I knew what Lucifer had done. When I got home the following day, he showed up and said, your friend is under judgment. It meaning one day Lucifer feels like he wants blood. He could just go to my friend's bloodline and take one of them until they beg for mercy. If you beg for mercy, acknowledge the mistake, he'll leave you alone. Because you are acknowledging to God that you've made a mistake. But he knew that they wouldn't, he would take control of them, not to actually apologize and say they made a mistake. They wouldn't acknowledge trying to kill me. So you try to kill somebody else's child, I will come and take your family members so you know how it feels. That's how it works. I knew exactly when her friend tried to kill me, when I looked at my friend and she said, I support my friend, what she did was right. And I knew straight away that he wanted to enter their bloodline. I took my daughter, I came home. And since then, I've made a decision that I will not go back. I've prayed to God and I asked for forgiveness. I will not go back to that relationship. But I ask God to forgive. That's not enough. My friend needs to do her part as well. And she needs to do her part for her. He hates celebration. He hates weddings. That's why he crushes. My friend's wedding was beautiful. Really, really beautiful. When I'm saying it was gorgeous. But her day now is been stamped by that. It was beautiful. I cannot lie. But because her friend tried to kill me, now she has a wedding that has been stamped with death. When Lucifer needed blood, he would just go to a bloodline on her mother's side and father's side. He would just kill or put cancer, put whatever he wants to put, and they'll die. What they do is he wants the red carpet, he wants blood. So that's how he works. I spend time asking questions. I'll ask questions. The pastor will read the Bible and go and ask him questions. Why does he do this? And they'll tell me he does this. And then I'll ask God, confirm with the Holy Spirit, or him himself will show up and say, you're looking for answers. This is what I do. And that's how it works. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare for me. I'm so grateful that I survived. I did not have any problem with sickness or anything, but the person that I will ever be grateful is that doctor that refused to put a signature and said, no, I am not going to put a signature. Nomsa, she's telling the truth. Human blood is sacrificed because we live in a world where people are ignorant. So the social services pretended that the human blood sacrifice does not exist. So me confiding in my friends, it means I'm cuckoo. It means I've gone mad. So me going mad, it means that they have to check if my children are safe. And even though they spoke to their fathers, they went to speak to my oldest, his father, and he was like, Nomsa is fine. And they went to speak to my youngest, his daughter's father, and she was like, Nomsa is fine. But to them, it was not enough. Because Lucifer was controlling them, it became a big issue. But in the end, I realized that I need, in order for me to get better, I need to shut up and get better. Once I get better, then I'll share my story. Because and also the reason why I got better, I needed to shut up. There are friends that I'm close to them. After that scenario with the person that reported me, I actually said to myself, if God loves me, do I really need other people that are rejecting me, turning their back on me? Do I really need those people? Because if I blame them, Lucifer is just it would just keep harming people. So for me, it was best if I just pray to God and God show me his love and I survive, and then I can share my story to people. I know there are some of my friends that were like, Nomsa, we were hanging out with you. We ate with you. You never told us. Yes, I never did. Because if I had come to you and tell you that I am under human blood sacrifice, on YouTube, there's lots of people that are confessing that if the pastors, the witch doctors, the whatever, you name it, they are confessing who have done it to people. Is there, people know they exist. Celebrities, they have confessed that they are doing it, or they've joined people who are doing it. Is there, is exist, people know it exists. But me actually now facing it, coming to you and saying, by the way, I am facing a human blood sacrifice, what would you think the action would be? People would think I'm crazy. So for me, it was Nomsa, go quiet and just get better. When I get better, I share my story. And that's what I did. So I apologize to all my friends and to all my family that they were never got a chance to support me, because I know that you wouldn't have supported me. You would have turned, Lucifer would have used each and every member of my family to turn against me, which he did. On my father's side, he went in, he was killing people. And when I was trying to tell my family, they think I'm crazy, so I stopped talking. On my mother's side, he did the same thing. My friends, he damaged them. Some people were never left the same. So that is the story. So I apologize to those that who have never got an opportunity to be part of it. And who say, Nomsa, we really your friends, who are questioning, Nomsa, we really your friends. If you didn't tell us, it's a very, when you are facing a human blood sacrifice, it's a very, very complicated situation. For me, I was connected to 200 something spirits. 200 something. How I survive, even now I look back, I don't know how. All I can tell you is God helped me to be where I am today. Because I don't think when I went home now, my brother was telling me that now facing me and saying, Nomsa, you have 200 and something spirit that have connected themselves to you, which is God's. There's so many gods. There is gods of iron, in which they deal with human blood sacrifice. There's God of the tree, you name it. There's laws underwater. They were all connected to me, wanting the sacrifice. How I'm here is God. So I looked at him and I was like, what did you just say? It took me 3 years to actually everything to sink in. But within that 3 years, I started now researching how they work. So far, God, the pastors taught me how to put them under judgment, how to use the Bible. If you go to Exodus 22, verse 18, it says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So meaning God will prefer the person that is killing people to die than to kill more people. So they taught me how to speak, how to call God and put people under judgment. So far, and every time I do that, somebody goes down. Those who have said yes, I've lost my friends. My friends have lost their parents. I've lost members of my family. They were left not the same health-wise. I lost my dad. I lost my stepmom. I lost my 2 stepdad, my 2 step parents, and I lost my dad and my grandparents through them. So I just said, to the pastors, can you teach me? They put people under judgment. Can you teach me how to speak to God? To ask them to put them under judgment on behalf of my family for what they have done. So they taught me. So now I have to pray to God. I've learned to pray to God. I call him out. And I have to ask. I have to say, God, the Bible says in the Bible that is written, that it says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And if you also say, anything you ask in my name will be added to you. But this thing that I'm asking, do these people have a right to kill these people? Do they have authority to put disease in people, to transfer? What they do is they transfer destinies to other people. Do they actually have a right to transfer people's destiny? Do they have a right to do that? No, they don't. So I have to put everything in God. So I'm sorry for those that say that, Nomsa, why did you go through this? Why didn't you tell us? But some of members of my family, I told them, and some of them disrespected me. And that's why I decided to go quiet. And also this spirit that is recruiting celebrities. So the reason why I say people need deliverance, they hug to people against their own will. So those who are hugged, me telling you the story, you go and watch my video, evaluate your story from 2016 to today, how the life has been. You can evaluate that. If life has been crazy, you can go and contact my pastors for deliverance. Is the words that they spoken, the curse that they've put in needs to be redone. Otherwise, if somebody in the bloodline dies through Lucifer's demons, no, it's not through Lucifer's demons, but it is through this spirit of the Hollywood spirit that promotes celebrities, whatever, it promotes everybody, or the wealth, the riches, whatever you call them, and the normal. If you die under this spirit, it means every year it means they have created an altar. Every year they'll come back and take a life. So it needs to be undone. It means every year, if he wants the blood, he will come into the bloodline. And for those who are watching, Lucifer doesn't care who you are, what background you come from. You are a pastor. There's lots of pastors who are under him. They don't know. From 2016, they were taking altars. In the churches, they will go into the church. He uses magnet. It's like if he put magnet in my head, the person that has joined them, if that person has a headache, I feel the headache. If that person has cancer, if that person has whatever sickness they have, or if they have flu, they don't get to, because they've joined them, they don't get to get sick. Somebody else get to get sick for them. So that's what they do. So meaning if he puts that magnet inside the church, you're no longer worshiping the church, God, you're worshiping him. But that thing that they've put in needs to be reversed. It needs to be cancelled. It needs to be removed using the prayers, specific prayers. That's how I survived. There's specific prayers to undo it. Anything that he has done, it can be undone. He tried to do it with me. I go to the doctors. and the doctors will give me their diagnosis. I say, okay, doc, we'll come back. Because the pastors already told me what he does. He plants sickness in people. If you go to the doctors, and if he tells you, the doctor says the doctor is not lying. When the doctor says, it means the doctor sees what he sees, what Lucifer wants him to see. If, let's say, is infection, and the doctor looks at it, the doctor will tell you this is infection, but actually it's not you who is sick. If you have that magnet, sometimes you put it in the head, in your hands, sometimes it goes in your head, or any part of the body. Or sometimes, what else does it do? So if you go to the doctor and the doctor goes, oh, you have infection, and you agree to it, it becomes reality. But for me, because the pastors had told me, I go to the doctor and I sit down, and the doctor will be like, okay, doctor, I don't have that sickness in my family. Let me come back. Let's do another test later, maybe in a week's time. And then I'll go home. I'll tell the pastors what the doctor said, or whatever has been done, I'll tell them. Or sometimes it could be a different thing. And then we get into prayer, and I go back the following time, and the doctor will be like, oh, you're okay now. Because I know that's what he does. So I refuse. Sometimes he uses ancestors, the graveyards. They pull the graveyard. Somebody died with this sickness, you become that sickness. He does so many things. I've watched my family members, and I watch my friends, and I look at them, but some of them, when I tell them, they don't want to know. They're like, human blood sacrifice, where it doesn't exist, but it does. You can go on YouTube and type pastors who did human blood, confessing for human blood sacrifice, it comes up. Type a witch doctor confessing, doing witch doctors, it comes up. There's European pastors, American pastors, and human blood sacrifice is big in America. And this ancient whatever is best in America, but they are recruiting everybody, and people are saying yes because he's telling them he's gonna make them great, he's gonna give them this, and they're saying yes. So you could be sitting next to somebody who said yes to them, and that person has an assignment. But if you don't know, you don't know. So that is my story. I'll make another video now. I'll put the phone numbers of the people that have helped me. So there's already people that have contacted me already, that have gone through it. So I'm sorry, guys, that I'll return your calls. I've not had a chance to return your calls, but I will. And I give you the contact of the pastors that helped me, but you have to do the work. Everything they say you do it, and he will leave. Sometimes when you're fighting him, he might turn you against other people, but it does not matter. For me, he turned me against everybody. If you ask that person, will tell you, Nomsa, she's this, Nomsa, she's that. This one will say, Nomsa did this, Nomsa, she's this, Nomsa, she's this, Nomsa, she's that. I just laugh and say, God, forgive them, because they don't know. I'm a lovely and kind person, but he was controlling them. He's the one that is speaking. He uses, because I know that that person is not actually speaking, it's him that is speaking. So he will put something like you link to his demon. So that person will be telling you what they really think about you, what they think, or just creating anger. You get angry, you give him the opportunity to do whatever he wants, or simply people just turn against you. and they'll tell you what they think. He makes them think they're on top of the world. Like when my friend's friend tried to kill me, I look at them. In their own mind, they thought they were on top of the world, but it was death. And I looked at them the way they were talking. And I even tried to say, you guys now need to shh, but they couldn't. Because when people don't believe, they don't believe. It took me 3 years for me to actually understand what is human blood sacrifice. To sink in, it wasn't sinking in. I couldn't understand why would somebody want to kill me to get wealth. Why? I couldn't understand it. But as the time goes by, God kept showing up, comforting me, and showing me why. In the process, making sure that I understand that I'll be okay. And I was okay, and I had to forgive. And the most thing that these pastors helped me with is to actually forgive those who wanted to take my life. It's not an easy thing to do. I can sit here today. That's why I'm making my video, that I can say the names out loud. Every pastor that teamed up to kill me, sometimes I watch them on TV. I'll be like, this one, you tried to kill me. So I can do that now with grace. But before, I couldn't do it. I'll cry. When I hear the name of a person, I'll just cry because I know that that person tried to take my life, until I actually let it go, decided to let it go. And then God, now when I decided to let it go, God, now it was time for him to show me the reason why they tried to kill my life. I come from a royal family, which my family kind of forgot to tell me that I have a royal blood. So I had to do the test. Where do I really come from? South Africa? No, because things were getting intense. Lucifer was coming so strong in a way that I was having question. I was like, God, why am I going through this pain? And God was like, do the test. Your family are not who you think they are. And then I did a test. Come back. I'm not South African. I'm from Nigeria. Half Kenyan, half Nigeria, and then half South Africa, Sierra Leone. Now we go to the next step. Now I know who I am, and now they are fighting me. So I was like, why would somebody just want to kill me? I'm just Nomsa. Why? And God said, keep going, keep praying. And then I realized that actually my family comes from a royal family. I have a royal blood. So meaning that the kingdom of my family, if the kingdom of my family, if somebody kills me as a princess, they live that life that my family will have. My family left Kenya and Nigeria because the person that was the king on my father's side, my father's family, they decided to go and buy land in South Africa and to buy land in the borderland for my family in South Africa and Zimbabwe. But the kingdom, my family are still crying for it. Before I left South Africa to United Kingdom, the minute I made a decision to come to the UK, I saw the vision, the kingdom, and I showed up, I saw the kingdom, and this man said, you made it. And I was like, you made it from where? And I looked around. There was army everywhere, everybody trying to kill me. So that dream it was showing me that although I've made a decision to go to United Kingdom, my life has already been decided. My life is in danger. And that dream, I had questions. Kingdom, why am I being shown the kingdom? I don't come from a royal family. I came, I asked my mom, I didn't ask my dad, and they always said I was crazy. They were like, no, sir. But it was then, now that God is saying, think, look deep, keep praying to see why they want to kill you, why they want your blood. Number one, if I was to go in the kingdom, I will claim I have a right to claim my family's kingdom. And everybody in my family forgot to tell me those things. My dad, what he did when I was growing up as a child, he was actually training me like he was like training a soldier. He was like training me. We get up at 4 a.m. We'll do the talk, training me the love, what it means to actually love your family, do this, do that, do that. I thought that was that, but he knew what I would face. He knew that people will come for me. He knew. I forgot to tell me those details until he died. He was killed. My dad was sacrificed. And there were two people on my mother's side that were sacrificed to prepare my altar, because I would have taken over my family's kingdom. So that person knew my family history, and my family deep down in their heart, they had chosen me, but they've never spoke about it. They've chosen me. And now this person goes into my family. They knew exactly who I was, and he recruits my family. He says, we want her. And they agree. And then in that place, the altar had to be prepared for my dad to be killed. My dad was sacrificed. And on my mother's side, they had to prepare the altar. But now they wanted me now. They could not have me. I had already started fasting to connect with God stronger and stronger. And that's why I survived. So they came in. I could not understand it. I was like, now, why these people are chasing me? I don't have what they want. Why are they chasing me? And God kept saying, keep praying. I kept praying. Then I realized actually, my dad comes from a royal family. My family never really thought it was necessary for them to tell me what I was facing. And some member of my family decided to actually me being sacrificed instead of me leading them. But I never agreed to say that I was going to lead them. I never agreed to that. But they just thought, the thought of her leading as a woman, some of them, that's why they said, yes, they wanted me to be killed. So that is my story, why these people wanted to sacrifice me. But in the end, after I finished all this, now I know that I asked my family, I did some research, and now I came to understand I was angry that my family gave up their lives and the life that I could have lived. And also I was angry that people made a decision for me by assuming that the royal throne is what I want. But what does Nomsa really want? What do I really want? I just want God. I never said I wanted the throne, so they did not need to kill me in the first place. They didn't, but they tried anyway. So, but now Lucifer showed up I think it was after the new year, he showed up when one of the pastors was praying for me. He said, I can see him. So I was like, it's fine. He's not going to kill me. He's not going to do anything. I'm not scared of him anymore. And I'm not scared of these pastors anymore. I'm not scared of these witch doctors anymore or anyone in my family that tried to kill me. I'm not scared of them. But with the throne, I don't know what God has in store for me. Somehow, I don't know. It's a decision that I've left it for God to decide what He wants me to do. Do I take my family throne? No, I don't want to. That one, I made a decision that I don't want to take their throne. I love my dad's family very much, but I'll help them however I can, but I don't want the throne. That's my decision. So that's what I decided. My friend, I've never asked myself. I kept like fighting and trying to protect them. So I met this guy the other day, and we were talking. For some reason, he's like, I don't know, he's a miracle child. He says he actually um, had a stroke, and then he survived the stroke, and the doctors were like, it's a miracle, no one survived it. So we were talking completely about something else, business, a meeting. And after, just when I stood up, he said, Nomsa, which throne did you choose? And I was like, we're not talking about the throne. He said, yes, I'm asking you, which throne do you choose? I choose God. That's the throne of grace that I choose. And I know who I am. And moving forward, what do I do for work? I don't know. I know that I'm doing my business and I'm really loving it. And even if I have to change because Lucifer is annoying me. Honestly, really, even if I had to change, I have to change. Now I can, my identity now, I know who I am. I know who I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But Lucifer is also keep showing up, and me fighting his angels of darkness. He has also showed me, and God has also showed me, this is the person that I am supposed to be. But I'm not doing anything. I wait for him to show up and give and tell me. If he confirms it, I will do it. I will take his throne if he confirms it. So that's why that I just want all my friends that know, that have seen my videos, and my family, to understand that it's been a tough times for me. I know that if I'd gone to somebody and told somebody and say that, listen, I'm fighting Lucifer or facing human blood sacrifice, no one will believe me. Even with my university, he tempered with my university. A university, he will just come in, and if I submit my work, he will go and mark it and tell the teacher to fail me, and they'll fail me and tell me what I've done wrong, and then I will speak to them and defend myself, and they will not want to listen to me. So he's done in so many ways. He does that for me. The more you sink into depression, the more he's able to take your soul. But that part has been the way around. He's wanted me to sink into depression, but instead I've gone mad. I am actually putting him under judgment the same way that he's put me under judgment. I'm putting his agents under judgment. And God is it does respond. If somebody gets sick in my family and I can see that is responsible, I will just go to God and ask God to stop them and put them under judgment. It might take a week, or it might take a day. That person dies instead of the person that is they were trying to kill. So I have learned to do that. And at the same time, guys, you got to understand, life has been tough, but I've not been alone. I've had people that have supported me through my journey. And I had God. I have God that has supported me through my journey. And I can't complain. And some of the things, it took me years and years to understand it. How would a human being want to kill another human being? Why the disease? Why would they put the disease in United Kingdom? When you have this, or any other countries, Europe, you have, or whatever happens, you go in the, you get insane, you go section, they have to put you on medication. But for us, like myself, for me, it was prayer. I saw it straight away that I was like, even God made me realize that this is whatever they're doing, it's not his work, because they wanted to kill me. So when things got dark, there were times where I couldn't, like, my head, I couldn't think, because they'll come into the house, they'll project, the energies will be projected in my house. But when I realized, actually, when the Holy Spirit showed me what they are doing, and I'll pray, it'll get better for a certain time. But then when I decided to go crazy now, I'll put the fire outside in a saucepan, and I'll come in and take the oven tray. Everybody will go out. Otherwise, my family will think I'm crazy. So I wait for Martin to go out and the children to go out. When I'm on my own, I'll just go and put the fire outside. And put the fire outside. I put it in a saucepan. The smoke goes out first, and I'll leave the flame while the flame is going, because that's when the Holy Spirit showed me they are projecting energies into my house, which is sucking my head. So I would just come into the living room with fire. They project, I project fire. And doing that, when I did that, one of the pastors was pronounced dead. And I never said anything. But when I knew, because I knew he was involved, but I didn't know that my fire could have been involved. When I shared my testimony in church, and one of the church members said, "Nomsa, you do realize that you might have responsible killing people?" I said, "What do you mean?" And they said the energy, when somebody project the energy, and you come with fire, what happens? That means that energy dies. It goes to fire. It does not exist. It cannot exist. So that's what I did. I did it for a long time, and then they left. Once I decided with chili, I'll bath with chili, and they'll come. But once I decided to use fire, they stopped projecting their things in my house, and they left me alone, because they could realize that I was basically, I was like, you want to kill me? No, you can't kill me. So I would just project every room. I will go to every room. I don't know how I survived the fire, carrying the fire on the stairs. Please don't do it. That's very dangerous. I don't know how I did it, but I did it anyway. But don't do it. It's now that I'm looking back and I'm thinking, what protected me, which is God. So please don't do it at home. I'll go to the stairs, climb the stairs, carrying the fire, and I'll go to the toilet. In the middle of the toilet, I'll project the fire. I'll go to the other room. In the middle of the room, I'll project the fire. I'll go to the kitchen, I'll do the same. I'll go to the bathroom, I'll do the same. That's how I survived them. Because their idea is to take over. The head is everything, is the symbol of your destiny. And mostly they are after the people that are angels. Those who don't fight people, it means they're angels. In reality, that person is an angel. So they want those people who are born angels. There are some people who are normal people. But in the Bible, there are some people who are angels. Those are the people that they are after. So that is my story, guys. And those that contacted me, I'll send you the message or the church where to go. But it's not thing that happens overnight. It's something, the deliverance, you have to do it over and over. That's how I survived. And the other thing is I will make another, that will be the last video. I'll just put the contact and how the process of deliverance is. Some people get delivered straight away. If you go to the church in Reading, it takes time, but if you go to his church, Dr. Olukoya's church, or you go to my brother's church, it happens straight away. For me, it didn't happen straight away because I was facing the battles that I was facing. They were too much to bear. I was facing Lucifer, facing ancestors, being condemned by ancestors, facing the celebrity spirit that I wanted to give them that I refused. So who do you think I am? So he wanted to destroy me. And what else was I facing? And I was facing some of the ancestors who turned against me from maybe 20 generations. And I was also facing the wealth that has already been taken in my family because they had already tampered with my family. And unknowingly, when I was praying, I was asking God to restore that without me realizing what I was asking. So in doing that, the war broke loose. So they were all wanting to kill me. So my fight was too much to bear. So that's why it took a long time. And also I was facing Lucifer. It means when you come from a royal family, Lucifer has a right to, he gets the door to be involved. Here I am now, I'm trying to change things. So he wasn't gonna have it. Royal family, there's loads of things goes on, bloodshed, you name it, corruption, everything. So here's me, unknowingly, I'm trying to change that. So he wasn't gonna have it. So that's why he brought a big fight to me. And I can stand here and say, I've won that fight with God. I've won the fight, I survived. Even if I was to go and my family's kingdom, if I was to actually say, okay, do this, it will be done in God's way. But I have won the battle with him. Now, the only thing that I have is to decide what is next with my life. But I've made a choice that I am not going to decide what is next with my life. God is going to help me to show me the way. He's going to guide me through it. If God comes to my life and said, Nomsa, you need to acknowledge your family's kingdom, but do it this way, I will do it. If God says, Nomsa, do it. But if God said, Nomsa, I give you my kingdom to fight Lucifer, I give you the anointing to go and fight Lucifer and save my people, I'll take that kingdom too. I'll accept it and I'll go ahead and be what God wants me to become. At this moment, I'm not deciding nothing. I just look at my family every single day, and I know that my life will change. but they are not prepared for it. They won't be prepared for it because the change, it will be the change that they don't want. They don't want. But they have to stand, if they were to stand by me, there's a character that image and a character that is expected, not expected, that they will have to change. And that's that. So that is my everything. God will decide what I need to do. I know there are some people who have questioned me and said, Nomsa, we watched your video. Why on hell are you a matchmaker? You are not meant. I am supposed to be a matchmaker. I am supposed to be doing what I'm doing. The gift that I have, I knew when I was a child that I was different from anybody else. If I needed to go to sleep, if I wanted the angels to come and sing with me, I would just talk and I would just say in my head and they'll come and sing a song for me and I'll go to sleep. And if my dad comes in and my dad will come in and I'll wake up. If he comes in at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., I will just wake up. But there's one thing that I mentioned it yesterday, that my family made a mistake. And that was, I think, Lucifer wanted the witch doctors and the false prophecies to see my gift. They locked me into the compound because I wanted to go somewhere and my dad wasn't there and my mom wasn't there. I wanted to go to my mom. I think I was 14 or 15 and they locked me in to say, you are not going. So that anger, I did not get angry with them. He actually exposed the gift that I have because I got angry that you don't lock me into the house. If you tell me don't go, I will just sit outside and I will not go. But do not lock me in. I couldn't get out the windows. I couldn't go out. But what I did, I called the angel of God and he took me out to the roof. I came out. But that was the day my gift was exposed. My family was so naive because I didn't know it was a gift to me. I just did it. I was like, okay, I'm so angry. They're locking me inside the house. And I watched the house is so big. The building was so big. And I was like, I cannot get out of here. But I just called the angel of God and he showed up. Through the ceiling, flew me through up the ceiling, and I went down and I went to my mom. And that was the day. And my family didn't. What they did, they should have maybe, but my dad, they killed my dad. As soon as I left, they killed my dad because they felt it was time for them to begin what they wanted to begin. It was a planning. They planned everything. It took them years and years. So after that, I forgot about it. And then I left. And now I'm here now facing me when the pastors, because what I am, it means if a pastor wants healing, if somebody gets sick, they can just call. If they take my spirit, they will do the same, but they'll be doing it making money. But I don't want to do that. So that's what it means. That's what these pastors and that's what these witch doctors and sorceries, that's why they just want to kill me. So, and also, I love music. I can sing, I can do whatever. I'm a very talented child, but I never took my talent very, very serious. When my family knew what I would face, they forgot to say, by the way, Nomsa, okay, so maybe I would have changed. I would have gone and looked for Dr. Olukoya, ask him to help me so I can be aware. Or straight away, I would have gone, but I think my dad knew. He knew straight away. But the love of God has kept me to be alive today, guys. I'm going to go. And the love of my mother. My mother, she's alive. That woman, I don't know how she survived. With God, it's just God. The only thing I can explain is God. Because my mom, she's older, she's 70. But when I was going through this, they've tried to turn me against my mom, but I said no. The more they try to fight me with my mom, the more I get stronger to my mom, the more I want hugs, the more I send messages to her and tell her how much I love her, the more she realizes in the end, she realized that they're actually going to kill her if she doesn't get stronger in prayers. And that is my story, guys. I will think about what I need to make. No, what I need to make now is the survivor. The phone numbers, what those, I'll make a short video, 1 hour video or 30 minutes video. If those who are going through the similar situation, you can contact that number and get help instead of dying or being on a medication for a long time. You can get out of it. His sickness does not exist. It's a lie. Even him himself, he showed up and said, Nomsa, your friend and family don't know what I'm up to, so I'm going to do it anyway. So what he did, he was looked down, and I looked down, and I had a white plain paper. There was nothing, no writing. He said to me, if I wanted to kill you, he showed me these powers. If I wanted to kill you, I would have killed you straight away. But I knew if I kill you, I'm not going to gain anything. He knew he wouldn't gain anything with me. So he showed me, he said, look down. I looked down. And now I'm reading text on the text that is not written. So for him, he was showing me that he's busy diagnosing people with things that don't exist. So if he wants you to think you have flu, he will put somebody, the grave next to you, link you to the grave that somebody died or they had flu, and you think you have flu, whatever disease that he thinks. And then he left. So that's how it works. God bless everyone. I'll speak to you soon. And today, creating this video was not all about you guys go to my website and things. I'm not going to say that. I've simply created this video from the bottom of my heart. And I'll call those who wants to talk to me. I'll call them back. Guys, God bless.